Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new series of videos that me and Alex are going to be doing before the release of Triangle Strategy, which is our top 5 hopes for Triangle Strategy.
This is really just an interesting little thing, and more of a podcasty type episode, or episode, I should say. So that being said, there's not a lot that's actually going to be going on in terms of, like, the screen and such, and stuff to watch, more rather than stuff to listen to. So if you want to put this on in the background while you're doing something, that's highly recommended. But it'll mainly just be Triangle Strategy stuff, like, well, the main menu, just around over here in case you do want to look at something.
But other than that, it's mainly just going to be me and Alex talking. So how this is going to go, we're going to break this into a 5-part videos. I don't know how long they'll be. They'll be as long as me and Alex want to talk. But so how this is going to work is that we're going to start from our least hope for the game, and we're going to work our way from 5, 4, 3, 2, and then our number 1 thing. And I'm going to put timestamps in the video, and me and Alex are obviously going to discuss our hopes. Like, you know, maybe we'll discuss it in the video. And I'm gonna put a timestamp from when I'll start, and then I'll put Alex starts, and then we'll just have closing thoughts and everything. And that's basically how these hope videos are gonna go for.
Yeah, it's mainly just going to be a bit of speculation about what the games are going to be, but more than anything, based on what we've gotten so far in terms of news and all that, it's going to be what can be expected, and mostly what we would hope to have. So it might get a little unrealistic sometimes, but we're gonna try and keep it somewhat down to earth.
We're gonna be using with all the knowledge we've gotten from all the trailers, which is like 4 to 6, and the character and story trailers. We're going to keep up. We're gonna try and be realistic with what our hopes want to be. All right, and with that out of the way, let us begin. So I'll start up first. So my number 5 thing, my number 5 hope. Oh, okay. I didn't realize the title screen actually just loops. Okay. Alex can actually see my screen here, so that way he can hear the epic title screen menu.
Honestly, it is very good. Okay.
My number 5 hope for Triangle Strategy is honestly the character development. Now, when I mean this, I mean character development in terms of actual character, not in terms of unit or anything. I mean in terms of personality and an actual character, because so far all we've really seen in certain scenes, based on what we've seen in the trailers and the demo itself, is we've only seen development for Roland, Federica, and Benedict. I feel like Serenoa, he hasn't really developed all that much, even though I know most of the story revolves around Roland because of the timing of the demo and what the news we have at the time. But I feel like for some reason, after seeing all the trailers, I feel like before all the trailers were released, I was mainly more apathetic towards Roland and Benedict. But after the demo and all the trailers, I feel like I'm more apathetic. I feel like I'm less apathetic towards them and more towards Serenoa, which is kind of a weird thing considering that he's the main character and he's the character that I'm going to be playing as when the game comes out. And then there are all the supporting characters Anna, Huette, Gila, Eridor, Corentin, I think is how his name is pronounced. All those characters that we've seen so far in the demo, all the supporting characters, and I just have no feelings towards them whatsoever. And now Serenoa is added to that list because I know they can't really spoil that much, and that the demo is still a thing, but it's just that all that information, but with all this information taken in now, it's just that it's just that Serenoa is just so apathetic towards me, and the other characters, the other supporting characters, they don't really I don't really feel anything towards them. Oh, let me actually move the controller. There we go.
You don't get a lot of time to really
there we go.
appreciate them and see what they can do.
Yeah.
character and story and all that.
And with the trailers, like they only spliced in like an additional like 5 seconds or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I don't really like. That's what I'm hope. But that's what I'm hoping the game will elaborate on because after yesterday's video, yes, we're making this the day after the Benedict trailer dropped. People were speculating what it like. People are now starting to speculate. Now that Benedict got his own show, they're starting to like really like feel like, wait, Anna, wait, Pascal, wait, is she like Benedict's daughter? Is it her sister?
I have a feeling it's a niece of some sort. I don't think it's a direct daughter.
Honestly, I think it's I think it's a sister, a younger sister.
She seems
That's what
too
I'm
young
going
for
for.
that. That's what I'm thinking. I think that white hair might be like a family thing, but Benedict genuinely looks a good deal older than her.
No,
Unless,
he is like he's like I think the game like I think in one of the articles or one of the or somewhere in the files like it was like hinted that he's like 56 or something.
yeah, Anna does not look 56.
No, I'm
She
pretty.
looks like maybe
That's why I said younger
50.
sister.
But like, for somebody to be 56 rather than like 20 something, just seems a bit, you know? Like it. I don't think that they could really be sisters. Also, 1 second.
Oh wait, let me actually pause the video so that way. Alright, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that.
I got a fucking doorbell thing.
Alright.
That being somebody rang my doorbell.
Okay.
But yeah, what I was saying was that I don't think that Benedict could necessarily be her sister, her brother. Like, if he's 50 something, she's 20 something, I feel it has to be like a niece or some sort because I can't foresee, unless she's like adopted from his parents who are a really young age, like his parents must be like considerably older, like at least in their 70s.
Well, let's. I have. Well, okay. So my money is on that she is his younger sister. If not, they're siblings at the most. What do you want to? What do you want to base your speculation on? What do you think they are?
I am genuinely thinking that she is his niece, only because, or daughter. And why I think that, I don't think that he's her sibling, only because I think that if they were from at least one of the same parents, the parents would have to be 70 years of age, if not older, because if he's in his 50s, especially mid to late 50s, and she's in most likely her 20s, even 30s, that's at least a 20-year difference in between having kids. And especially in that time, like, in this kind of world, it doesn't seem likely, unless she was adopted like 20 years later or something. But even with that being said, I'd be surprised if his parents even lived that long, especially since if he had a wife, or really any sort of spouse, it seems like they're dead by now. So, in general, it really feels that, I don't know, she has to either be his kid or kid adjacent, so therefore niece. So maybe he's speaking to his brother or his sister, who is now dead
Or
in
wife.
that trailer, or wife, either one. And it really could just be like, hey, I'm gonna take care of her. Sorry about that. Also, house full for it.
Yeah. But the
like,
thing
you know,
is, though, so at the most, she is either his sibling, either niece, or you know, child.
they do seem related in some way, and I feel they have to be because if they're sharing the same name, look at least somewhat similar in terms of like hair color and demeanor, if anything else, then it really does feel like, I don't know, like I'm very curious to see where their story goes, and it's also why I'm very excited as to see people's character developments and just the different relationships that will develop, and that includes Anna and Benedict, but also obviously like Roland, Sarah Noah. There's also Sarah Noah with Frederica, because I've mentioned this in the Frederica trailer and a bit in Benedict.
You're looking forward to seeing what how their marriage is actually set up. Like, do they actually love one another?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how all of their relationships like are, and like just we get to see how maybe how they were formed, maybe not, but we at least get to see how we are at the time and throughout the course of the game, how it's affected by our decisions, because that's going to be very important. And
I can answer Roland and Ceranos. I do believe it was that their relationship is that they're childhood friends.
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Because I think it's also mentioned a bit in Roland's trailer. Um, and, this one of his brothers like, yeah, you're childhood friends, but still, like, House Wolf can turn on you at any time, so fuck him.
yeah,
And Roland's like, no, yeah, whatever. And then, you can. So,
yeah. You can.
you're both right. Oops. But I do think that that would be very interesting, so I do agree with you on that, like, all of these, like, character building moments seem really interesting, but I don't know, I wouldn't say we're done talking about this, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would say
I
that...
mean, like, but the thing is, though, it seems like we have a cast of like 8 characters, like because we have Jayla, we have Eridor, we have Anna,
main characters, it seems like, and, like,
and
main
Huette,
characters and main
and
supporting characters.
like from the demo, half the characters have like put their personal input, which is Benedict, Serenoa, Federica, and Roland, and the other 4 just seem like to be background characters, even though they seem integral to the main story and the main party.
Well, it's probably because these 4 are the other 4 that are, part of the party from near the start. And also, obviously, if they're being shown in the demo, they have to have at least some importance.
Yeah,
That might
because
be
they
if
all. But the thing is, though, I don't know if you noticed this, Alex, but all those characters actually are following one of the other characters of the like half those
Yes.
4 characters. Like, let's see, Huette's loyal to Roland.
Yep.
Anna, I would think, is loyal to Benedict because
and
obvious
Gila is loyal to Frederica.
So that
yeah.
means Eridor is
Eridor-
loyal to Serenoa.
Well, he's either loyal to Serenoa or Wolford itself, but I would say more so probably Serenoa.
I think in one of in the trailer that we just got, I think he's the House Wolford
Master of Arms.
Master of Arms or Shield Master. It was or Quartermaster. I think it was one of those.
I believe it was Master of Arms or something of the sort, because it was like basically they're fighting and also fighting extraordinaire.
So yeah, like I'm actually wondering if if we actually lose one of those characters, I'm pretty sure that character will also follow. Like if we lose Federica somehow, if
I
that
feel
character
would follow, yes, because she wouldn't have a reason to stay. Certainly.
Yeah, because like she's her tutor, she's supposed to be guiding her, and yet, but maybe but that's the thing. Like I'm really interested in seeing how this entire cast will develop as a character and how the plot will actually change them. Because
Honestly,
we've seen in other games like how just like one simple decision can change how a character's demeanor can act.
Yeah, and especially that's even with like less like choice-driven games where like your choices don't matter as much. Sometimes you're kind of even railroaded into certain choices, which feels pretty bad.
Yeah.
But also makes it even worse when you like see how those choices affect certain characters, particularly when it's negative, and you have no choice but to do that to them. That's how the story progresses. They need to get worse, and that feels horrible.
But
it's
like
such a gut-wrenching feeling.
Yeah, like I'm just really hoping like there's no open I'm really hoping like the character development is not just like one side. Like I want to see these characters actually like develop as the story like progresses. I don't want to see them like just be stagnant and have the same personality and like character throughout the entire game.
I would like for some of them to at least go through one character arc, if not multiple, but I feel that could be a lot to ask, especially for like a decent amount of characters in the game, and like possibly a decent amount of paths, but that's something to talk about another time.
Yeah,
With that, it is like to get at least a bit of a spotlight for each of them, and just say like, hey, this is affecting this character because they are like based on this.
I'm hoping because we got a Roland spotlight. Like this entire demo was spotlight for him.
Yes. That was mainly Roland's like story that like we got to see because it was so much about Glenbrook. Obviously a good bit about Frederica because you see with Airfrost, and we really get to see the Glenbrook side of it rather than the Airfrost side, where for the most part it is like Airfrost is the one invading, Glenbrook is the one defending. That is the truth. But we get to see it from Glenbrook's side, where it's obviously we're harboring Roland, and we see that the Duke of Airfrost, Gustadolf, is killing the shit out of the Glenbrook royalty.
He already killed the father and brother, and now he's leaving the sister as like a political figure.
Yep, she is nothing but a puppet ruler at the moment, and it's rather sad. She's being held very hostage. So you could see that with there, it's certainly affecting Frederica. Like, she doesn't feel good about it, and she can't even believe that her brother Gustave would do such a thing. So, with
Wait,
that,
Federica, brother Gustav?
yes, Gustave is her brother.
Oh, wait, no, oh, for some reason, I thought when you talked about that, I thought you were talking about Cordelia for some reason.
No. But, yeah, with that, it's like, you clearly see how it's affecting Frederica, but the main thing is about Roland, about how it's affecting him, that he's, rightfully upset that most of his family is now dead.
Yeah, I mean,
His
he saw
kingdom
them
is
die
currently
right in
taken
front
over.
of him.
Yep, it's really bad. We got there just in time to see his brother bleeding out, and, the king gets taken away and all that jazz.
Well, the king
And then
didn't die yet. Yeah,
he
yeah,
did.
and then
No, they executed him publicly though.
Yeah,
That's also
yeah,
really
he
bad.
didn't die
One of
just
the
yet, but so he
subjects.
died in 2 separate instances.
Yep.
And the news
But
traveled fast because Roland, got to hear it.
he did. He got to hear it rather soon after the fact, which is very sad, honestly. Um, but with that in mind, it is that, like, obviously, the demo was like very Roland centric because even the main decision that you could make is a lot about Roland. Like,
Yeah,
it's
do you
entirely
hand him
about
over
Roland
to the
in fact.
Empire or do you defend him and House Wolford?
Yes. And it does put him like very squarely in the center of the story, at least at that time. And granted, we're coming in like the middle of like the big conflict happening, like beginning to
Yeah,
start.
chapter 6 and 7.
Yeah. So with that, it's like he's probably not the focus for the entire story. Like, it's not his story. This isn't Roland's story. He's not the main character. He's just a really big. He's someone with a really big role at the moment.
Yeah.
Kind of like in Three Houses, where all of the lords have big roles.
Yeah,
And
but I'm not trying to view these
and
characters. I'm trying to like separate Fire Emblem and Triangle Strategy. Like I'm
I
trying.
think you should.
But the
That's
thing is, though, that they're making
it's its
so
own
many
game.
similarities and borrowing stuff from Three Houses that I feel like that I'm trying really hard, but they're putting too many similarities at
The
once.
thing is that since their games are trying to do similar things, which is making a game where your choices matter, possibly multiple paths, like fast progression and everything, and it's like turn-based, like JRPG and everything, so it's going to have similarities. That's just going to happen.
Mhm.
And the fact that it has 3 main characters along with your main character that you are playing as.
But he's not an avatar, though, which I can.
Exactly.
I can.
But that does bring me to my point, which is that
Oh wait, your hope.
it brings me to my hope, my 5th hope.
Okay.
That
Well, wait. Before we get to your 5th hope, let me just wrap up my thoughts. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all good. I don't want to cut stuff off, especially if you're going to timestamp this.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just my main hope for these characters is that I want to see character progression. If this is like our main part, as you're seeing right here at the screen, then I want to see all these characters progress in some form and like develop throughout the story, no matter what. Like with each choice, like they change their characters. I just don't want it to be static throughout the entire thing. Even though we're probably good. I'm gonna keep open-minded. Like I'm not like. Me and Alex have plans that we're going to be reviewing the story at after each chapter and each exploration phase. We're going to be reviewing how the story shapes up, so you guys can look forward to that. Along with, so yeah, we'll be giving our thoughts on when each chapter and exploration phase when we do that when the actual game is released. I didn't do it for the demo because we were thrown in the middle of it. There's not, I can't really pick apart the story that much if I'm
We
thrown
don't
into
have enough context.
Yeah, and obviously.
Very much will change once we have set context.
And there is past context because obviously when we went to go and explore around the town and actually make decisions, there were some options that we couldn't choose because we lacked information from past chapters that we didn't have access to because the demo throws you into the middle of the story when it's at its climax, it looks like.
So in that chapter, there will be new stuff that we'll probably be able to unlock when we go through the story in full. So it's going to turn out differently, and I would hope for the better.
Yeah. All right. So now
it's certainly more interesting.
So now let's So now it's your hope. What is your number 5th hope for this game?
My number 5th hope is I want Serenoa to be a real character, and by that I mean I don't want them to simply be an extension of us like some other player characters are. And I don't want him to be generic. I want him to have his own hopes, wants, and desires. And I understand that is tough because since this is a very choice-based game and we are acting through Serenoa, the problem with that comes with his choices and wants can change based on us.
Mhm.
So,
Like that,
that,
like, do you see why I've grown more apathetic towards Sarah Noah after seeing all the trailers?
the problem itself
Like, the
is
motherfucker doesn't even get his own trailer. He's delegated to being the last character shown in Benedict's.
it's sad, and that's what worries me, and that's why I have this want, because I want him to be his own character. I don't just want him to be us. I don't want him to be the player character. I want him to be Sarah Noah Wolfort. And with that, some things that I would want him to do is I would want him to have emotional moments where, based on what's happening in the story, I want him to feel things, and I want him to actually like say things that are his own. I want him to have like big decisions. I want him to like both. I want him to be able to do things that like we can control, with him actually seeming somewhat in character, where like we don't just all of a sudden.
Where this
turn
actually
completely
is a
evil.
tough decision for him.
Exactly. I don't want things where like he can just turn completely evil on a dime because we want him to, and he just goes completely out of character.
Not saying that I
want
wouldn't mind that though.
It would be cool in its own way, but at the same time, if that is Sarah Noah's character, show us that. Show us that he has that darker side. But if that's not, if he really is just a goody two shoes like so many other like main character JRPG like just protags are, then them being the protagonist, then keep us there at least like to some point.
Mhm.
Like we'll probably have to make tough decisions that will impact people, but show his remorse, show his regret,
Show that this
his
is a
emotion.
tough decision for him to make, though.
Show that he's feeling things rather than just him being an avatar with a slightly more of a personality than it would be just on a blank slate.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be that.
Like all of Team Asano's games, like even Seth had like his own like goals and like convictions. Like he wanted to, like
Exactly.
he like in like I know it's Bravely Default 2, but in Bravely Default 2 he wanted to help Gloria, but at the same time he wanted to, even though that he had a desire to return home, he felt that he wanted to help Gloria in her like journey.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, is that Seth is an avatar character. However, like, you can name him and everything. We named him after you.
Yeah.
However, the thing with that is that because we can't make too many decisions in that game, it was a little easier. With this, the fact that we can make so many decisions and the game is kind of based around the fact that, our choices really matter. Sarah Noah's choices really matter, but they say our choices really matter. They're focusing on the fact that it's our choice rather than
They keep saying that your convictions will be challenged.
Yeah.
At the end of every single trailer.
Well, they will, to be fair.
Yeah, but like, don't you think this should be? Yeah, but the thing is that these are our convictions. Don't you think they should be focused? I don't know, more on Sarah Noah, considering that he is actually, the main character.
Exactly. I do think that
I mean, I know we're controlling him, but like, still.
what it looks like more and more to me is that it seems like Sarah Noah is going to be witness to a lot of things happening in this world with Air Frost, with Hyzantine, and with Glenbrook, because, Roland is the heir apparent to Glenbrook soon, like after what happens with his family. Frederica, well, if shit happens to Gustadolf, then guess what she is? And with Hyzantine, like, we're not associated with them at all, so we're looking in on them too. The only thing is that Sarah Noah, like, he doesn't have a real impact on stuff unless we do specific things. So with that, it does seem to, like, yeah, with those choices, we can make it so that, like, they can, and it makes it easier for our choices to matter, because we're not playing as Roland, the heir of Glenbrook. We're not playing as Frederica, Princess of Airfrost. Like, we're not playing as, like, one of the fucking council members from the Byzantine Empire. We're playing as Sarah Noah, like, just the leader of House Wolford. They're just one of the 3 high houses. That is it.
Yeah,
so, with that, like, there's not as much weight behind that as there could be with others. So because of that, he's going to be more, like, looking in on shit, which is what I feel. But I want this to be Sarah Noah's story. I don't want this to be Roland's story. I don't want this to be Frederica's story. I don't want this to even be Benedict's story, even though that'd probably be really cool, and I'd like that they're focusing on the advisor. I want this to be Sarah Noah's story.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like, I think I
He
think
needs to be a character.
yes, I think all characters. I'm not, and when I say all characters, I'm talking about all characters from like the starting party that we saw when the Seals and Conviction were like made. I think they'll all have their own like convictions and like their own like plot points. I don't think, but the thing is though that
They have their own convictions that made them get there to this point, where they
yeah,
were fussy.
the thing is though that because of the trailers and the demo that we played so far, like it's like this is why I'm really hoping that Sarah Noah will have like what you're hoping for. I'm behind you on that hope, because like Sarah Noah, he seems like a blank slate to me. Like I have nothing. Like this is why I've grown more apathetic towards him as we've seen more trailers and after the demo, because when the demo first debuted, I was really like excited to like play as Sarah Noah because he seemed like the main character. Like this, I felt like this is a main character I could get behind. But after all the news, after all the articles, and the trailers, I'm just like feel like that Roland and Benedict and Federica are more like important to him than than Sarah. Or more,
He is really at all.
even though he's the main character and he doesn't even get his own like fucking trailer.
I think that with this, like, they are focusing on them only so that you can get like more of a world building thing with them, but also so that you can get some of the other like technically main supporting characters. You can get more characterization on them, so they matter more, and you can actually care about them. But the problem with that is now we're neglecting Sarah Noah, so we're really going in blind with him. But that being said, we can see like what's going on from the start. Like, how is Sarah Noah, and like how's he gonna deal with shit?
Yeah, like
And I think we can assume that like he is a somewhat honorable, person. He wants to be like a good leader of House Wolford, and he doesn't want to shirk his duties or anything, so he's very focused on that, and he seems to be in general a good person.
Yeah, that's literally what the games is like. That's literally what they say on the website when you actually go to Nintendo's page, is that that you're playing as Sarah Noah, so that way he can shape the future of Norzelia in his own way.
Exactly, but how is he going to do that? And more importantly, why does he want to do that? And what does he want to do?
This has to be elaborated on.
Exactly, and I understand that is a problem because, again, it's our choices. It's not always Sarah Noah's. More often than not, it's going to be ours. We're doing it through Sarah Noah, but they have to make it where it's believable for Sarah Noah, because otherwise it's just going to be an avatar, and that's it.
Where it's something that we want, but it's also something that Sarah Noah feels like that is, needed to shape Norzelia this way.
Something that would be in character for Sarah Noah, rather than taking
that I can look at and say, yeah, I believe that, like, after seeing his character, yeah, I can believe him actually making this decision.
Yes.
And otherwise, it's just going to be Korn 2.0, and oh my god.
Exactly, because I
don't want that.
Yeah, no, nobody wants that. But I want to be able to say, hey, I can make a decision based on utility where people are probably going to die, and like this is going to be good for us and not really for other people, but we're doing it for like to preserve ourselves. And then I want to do something out of compassion, and I want to do something morally good. And I want both of those to be something that Sarah Noah can do in succession and say, yes, this is me, Sarah Noah Wolfort. I am making these decisions, and this is why. And I want to believe it.
Same. So
that's a tough thing to do, though. So if the writers can't, I understand. It's a tough thing, honestly. Yeah. I don't know if I could do it.
Because, but like the thing is, though, that like after seeing the trailers, is like it feels like, and I feel like that the reason why I'm apathetic towards Sarah Noah now from after getting this far is that I feel like that he's not really the main character. It feels like with all the trailers and everything, he's more of a secondary protagonist, or even like a supporting character to Benedict, Federica, and Roland.
And that's exactly the problem, because I'm comparing it to Three Houses again. That's how Byleth feels compared to the Three Lords.
But I feel like that
story.
Yet they still try to make Byleth the main focus, though.
Yeah, he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Or like they shouldn't be. The difference is here, Sarah Noah should be the main focus because it is his story.
Yeah, like he's trying to shape the future of the continent in his own way. So, but the thing is, though, the difference between him and Byleth is that he's not a silent protagonist, and he doesn't like go through one of two dialogue options that will basically give him the same results.
No, he has his own words. He has his own voice actor. He has his own everything. So he should
Byleth
have
also had their own voice actor, but they only said like something after you kill someone, like that is that.
They did like a victory quote, a death quote, and a level up quote, or mayhaps that's about it.
Yeah, that's it.
2 lines.
Yeah, 2 lines
really...
of text, and yet somehow they...
And maybe yelling in a cutscene or 2. That's it.
No, they were silent in all cutscenes.
No, like the actual like 30 FPS ones. Like I think there was one where they were like tearing through the space or whatever, and like they were.
Oh yeah. Oh, that cutscene.
Power. Yeah. But like aside from that, it's like the point being they were a blank slate and they were supposed to be. Serenoa is not, so I don't want him to be that.
Mm-hmm. Same. Alright, that was actually a really good hope. I actually didn't... I mean, I figured that your hope was going to be something about one of the characters. I didn't think it was... I didn't think it was going to be based on Serenoa as a whole. Like, mine is like across the entire cast, but you're really hoping for Serenoa, actually.
True. Well, because he's the main character. If the main character and the character that we are following more than anybody else, and in their shoes, if they are not somewhat good and like appealing,
then I think the story is going to fall.
I'm likely not going to have as much fun with the story or the game itself.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for this first part. I'm probably going to upload this immediately, actually, just so that way it can be like a shock announcement. But I'm probably going to set this as a premiere, so that way it's kind of like live streamed as well. But yeah, we're gonna be making these videos. We're not gonna be making these videos like back to back to back to back to back because I'm pretty sure we're gonna get more news. So we can probably base our 4 other hopes on that. But as of right now, as of this moment, this is our 5th hope for the game. This is something that we're really hoping that the game will when it actually releases. This is something that we'll expect.
This is what we want to see when we play the game and what we see in our playthroughs, basically. And it's only going to get more passionate from here on out.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope this is an emotional, engaging story.
Oh, it will be, but in a good way.
I hope.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. We'll see you in the next video when we, give us our number 4th hope on the game. So yeah, see y'all soon, and bye.